there's a few reasons. One of them is it's more engaging for the students. So the days when you can sit there for 2 hours and listen to a PowerPoint lecture are hopefully dying out. It's not very exciting. I've sat through them myself. So bringing in technology just makes it a bit more exciting. It engages the students. And it also sort of responds to different learning styles. The students that will respond to a visual stimulus, so we can bring that type of thing in it. That makes it engaging for those guys as well. So yeah, looking at their needs. And I think as well, using the technology is a good way of taking the emphasis off me, because it's not me standing up there saying I know everything about this. Using technology, we can bring in the students' ideas. We can get them to find information and then sort of bring that into the class. So it makes it more interactive, makes it more engaging. It's becoming almost more collaborative, I guess, at times. The students will often point out something using technology, and then that can be incorporated into the lecture either that week or next week. And it's great just to get their views. There's almost nothing worse than sort of standing at the front of a lecture and just me talking for 2 hours. So it's nice to get their input, get their views. And some of these guys have really great experiences. They know a lot about the subject, and they can add insight on particular areas that's really useful. My area of sport management, we have some guys who work as practitioners, and so they've got experience of industry and some real life examples that they can share with the rest of the class through this type of interaction. So it's engaging people, it's interesting, and it's more fun, hopefully, for students. Hopefully classes are fun, they should be. So yeah, using technology, we can just liven it up and get everyone's views and get people going in it a bit. Other ones that I've been using more recently, in-class voting or audience response systems. So there's a number of different versions out there. We've been trialing Go Soapbox, which is a web-based one, and you can ask students their views on topics. They can vote on a particular point, ask them if they understand. They can show whether they do or not. We can engage in a discussion, so I can put up a question, get their views on it, and then that will form the basis of maybe then a class activity, a class discussion around that topic. So yeah, audience response systems are really useful. Yeah, there's a few. Again, the in-class voting is a good example probably that when we're talking about things in class, often what I'll do in some of the more the subjects that are maybe open to discussion, I'll get student views at the start of the activity. So I'll put up a question and ask them their views on a particular topic. So they'll log into the system and they'll vote for whatever they think, yes or no answers, or give their views on a particular topic. We'll then discuss it, we'll then go through the lecture, and at the end I'll then ask them to put up their views again. And often you'll see that these have changed as a result of the discussion. Well, I hope they've often changed as a result of the discussion. So that's a nice sort of example of just using the technology to get them thinking, and then it provides a discussion for later on, because we can say, okay, why did you think that? What is it about the topic that we're discussing that means that's the view that you have? And it's often a view that other people have, and it just opens it up into a deeper discussion than if I just say, here's the theory, this is what we talk about. If they're giving their views, it's engaging them in it. So that's one of the examples.
And stuff like Go Soapbox, testing your knowledge, quizzes during the lectures, making it more interactive. With the lecture slides, Go Soapbox creates a different aspect of teaching in a way rather than more theory-based.
It's very interactive. A lot of the questions that Keith set are based on opinion. So using technology, we've really gone into depth more than just hands up. Who thinks this? Hands up, who thinks that? It's more you got these stats that come up on the screen. So it's more you can see really not only what you're thinking, but what the rest of the class is thinking. So it's very, very effective.
Yeah, some students do like to sit back and maybe not say much, but a lot of them, it's maybe fear of sort of being seen to get it wrong perhaps in front of their peers. And I think using technology is really useful, because a number of the apps you can do, or a number of the technologies you can use, it can be anonymous. So the students aren't identified. It's not saying who it was who said a particular thing. If they're just voting, there's no way of knowing which students voted which way on some of them. So it removes that fear of sort of getting it wrong in front of their peers. And I think you do have to sort of talk to them about how it's going to be used. And if they understand it's not for assessment and it's just to help with the discussion, they get used to it and they're more comfortable with it. When you first start, they're like, oh, this is a bit strange. They're like, oh, what are we doing here? But by the end of it, it's second nature to them. It's just become what you do in class. And yeah, that fear of doing it has gone. And yeah, some will engage better than others. Some like technology. Some don't like technology. For those, it's probably not their most favourite activity, but they get the benefit from it, and it breaks it up, it makes it more interesting again for them. So yeah, so some are reluctant, others are all for it. Others, it's hard to get them off technology in class at times, so we may as well use what they're using for a good purpose, I guess, in that regards.
You know, it's good. It's really good to see what other people are thinking. You know, being a sports subject, everyone's obviously got their different views and stuff like that. So it's good to see how other people are taking it in.
I was using one of the programs where getting students to use an audience response system, and one of the functions on that is there's a back channel, so it allows conversations to go on between students and between lecturers, sort of either as the class is going or later on. And I've used it in other classes and not had a problem. And in one particular class, the students maybe weren't quite mature enough, ready enough, or sort of down with how to use it. And we had some discussions going on that perhaps weren't appropriate for in a class. So that had to be removed quickly, and probably those students who are using it again just need to be talked to and educated on how it should be used and what it's for, and how not to use it. Well, the biggest piece of advice I give is to try it. It sounds scary, like using technology in teaching, and it sounds complicated. But it's not. If I can do it, anyone can do it. It's not complicated. So just try it and see what's out there and see what you can do. If you are thinking about using it, I would recommend speaking to colleagues that have already used it, or speaking to a blended learning advisor, finding out what works for what you want to do. I think it's not a case of thinking I have to do this, or I have to use this particular package or this particular app. It's kind of knowing what you want to use it for, and then finding out what's most appropriate. So speak to someone and say, this is what I'd like to do, this is an idea I've got, and then try and work out what's available to do it. But certainly try it. There's so many things out there that when you actually try, it can be fun. Not just for students, but for you as well. The activities do take a while to plan. You do need to plan them. If you just try and chuck it into the class, throw it into the class at short notice, it can go wrong. But if you plan it in advance, it can work, and it can work well. I think you need to kind of overcome the fear of failure and try it. But if it goes wrong, students are kind of appreciative almost that you get trying something different. I don't think students worry if you do try things. They're often keen to have a go, and then you can iron out the problems and work with them in that regards. So yeah, there are issues. And the other thing is there's people around to help. I mean, I rely a lot on people to give me advice and give me help on what I do, and that's kind of the key support, is that there are people there who are using the technology who know much better than I do how to use it. So speak to them if you have problems, and yeah, you can get around them, and it's probably not going to be insurmountable in that regards to try and get over it. So try it, have a go. You might like it. It's kind of the Dr. Pepper advert in a way. So yeah.